to the river I am going, bringing sins I cannot bear. Come and cleanse me, come forgive me, Lord, I need to meet you there. Waters, healing mercy flows with freedom from despair. I am going to that river, Lord, I need to meet you there. Precious Jesus, I am ready to surrender every care. Take my hand now, lead me closer, Lord, I need to meet you there.
The people can, yeah. So this is.
Come forgive me, Lord, I need to meet you there. And in these waters, healing mercy flows with freedom from despair. I am to that river, Lord, I need to meet you there. Precious Jesus, I am ready to surrender every care. Take my hand now, lead me closer, Lord, I need to meet you there.
Come and join us in the river. Come find life beyond.
Sorry.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow to anger. Your name is great and your heart is kind. For all your goodness I will keep on singing.
Good evening. Are you hungry? Okay. Well, I'd like to take this time to welcome each and every one of you to our this special event. We have Mark Anthony, who does cooking shows all over the country, and he has traveled all over the place. Basically, he has done cooking shows on 3ABN. This is Three Angels Broadcasting Network, Smart Style TV, and he's been a chef for some of the biggest names in show business, such as Jack Nicklaus, Montel Williams, Jerry Brown, Eddie Murray, Joan Jett, Rio Speedwagon, Styx, and Journey. And like I said, he has done cooking shows in every state of the country. And this afternoon, we would like to begin with a word of prayer. So just bow your heads as we pray. Father in heaven, thank you for this day, for your blessings. Thank you for allowing us to come and to witness this special event. We pray for your blessing to be upon this program. Bless all of our families here. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. So, without further ado, I'd like for us to give a round of applause to Chef Mark Anthony.
Amen. Well, thank you. How we doing? All right. Well, we got quite a few people here for such a nice day outside. You know, you get these good weather days, a lot of people want to stay at home and get those last-minute yard work things done. I talked to my wife. She said it's going to get cold next weekend. So, yeah, thank you all for coming out. Big question, though. How many people were here the last time I was here? So we had a few, not a lot. Okay. Now, I think last time we did a Southwest theme or Italian. Maybe it was Italian the time before. We talked about getting off cholesterol. So I'm going to touch base about that, but I want to move forward into some other topics today. And we've got a whole new cooking theme. This is my unprocessed program. And let me tell you, I tour the country. I've been in every single state in the country doing these events. Last year, we just did our 1,000th cooking show. And have still never charged anybody for anything. God's provided every step of the way just by donations. And so thank you all for contributions. I like the way Pastor put it. It's like a partnership to help grow the health ministry. And but let me tell you, I really get a heartbeat of what's going on in society. And it is just one upside down world out there, isn't it? I'm telling you, I can't believe what an upside down world it is. My wife and I, we went to one of those Ross stores, and they got clothes and furniture and things like that. And they actually had a framed poster in there. Almost bought the thing, but we were traveling. Big, beautiful framed poster. And it actually said, "Never trust a skinny chef." And I thought, wait a minute now, shouldn't this say never trust a fat chef? I don't know where they get these phrases from, but I probably couldn't have said that 75 pounds ago. I've already lost 75 pounds going on a vegan, vegetarian, plant-strong lifestyle. I do want to point something out, though. Excess weight comes from excess sugars, excess fats, and excess calories, okay? That's where you're getting excess weight. Excess cholesterol, saturated fats, that's where you get the clogged arteries and the killer diseases, okay? So there's a big difference between the two. And you don't want to judge people because they're overweight, thinking they're unhealthy. It's not always the case. In fact, there's a lot of people who are overweight who are perfectly healthy. And there's a lot of people who are overweight who are actually way healthier than the slender people whose arteries are all clogged up with cholesterol, okay? Cholesterol is still by far the number one problem. And anyway, if you want to lose a quick 20 pounds, you want to lose a quick 25 pounds, just wear black. I mean, I do things the easy way. That's right. Now, I'm making a bean pot over here. I've got a bean pot here, and I'm doing it the easy way. What I did was I brought these beans to a boil and then shut it off. Let it set for a few hours. It's like you're fast forward to soaking them overnight and that type of thing. And then I drained the water, and then I filled it up with more water. It's just over half full right now. And then we're going to add some ingredients to it. Today I'm doing carrots, bell peppers, and onions. And you can use celery. I mean, and I got lots of vegetables in here. You can use celery or jalapenos. There's so many different things. That's why I like bean pots, because you can really be creative with it. And now spice-wise, we're going to do some onion. Let's do some garlic, maybe some chili powder, cumin, salt. We're going to get carried away here today. And now, you know what you get when you mix onions and beans, though, right? Well, tear gas. Yeah, it's a little different, but yeah, all the military boys know that one, right? Okay. So we're going to do some garlic and onion here. Now, I'm going to do 1 part garlic, and then I'm going to do 2 parts of onion. And I'm a real ratio person, so 1 part garlic, 2 parts of onion should about do it. That's a really good ratio for a lot of your soups and things like that. And if you can learn how to cook in ratios, when you're looking at recipes, just look at ratios and you're going to see some very consistent patterns going on. And then you can increase or lower, but keep the ratio the same. So 1 part garlic, 2 parts onion. By the way, you'll notice I have 2 different types of onion in there. Now, the reason that is because they both have different flavors. Onion powder actually has a different flavor than raw onions. And even onions there's 5 different technical flavors of onion. You have raw, you have translucent, you have golden, you have brown and dark brown. And every one of those flavors has a very distinct flavor that's completely different. And so, you'll see that on different recipes, and it's there for a point when people do that. So we've got our garlic and onion there. We're going to do some cumin, which I'm going to do 1 part cumin and 2 parts chili powder. 1 part cumin, 2 parts chili powder. Now, let me tell you something. That is not a lot. I'm not making chili today. If I was making chili, I would actually double or triple the amount of spice in there. And then a little bit of salt. And using some sea salt today. So give this baby a stir and get this baby cooking. Is it on? I got my flames on here? Okay. I got my keepers of the flame right here. This one's not on? Which one's off? Is it on? Oh, it's empty. You're hired. I'm going to take these girls on the road with me. How's that? Okay. Thank you, thank you. I was wondering why it wasn't heated up here. Oh, look at how thick that is. The vegetables will sweat and it'll actually thin down a little bit, but I want it thick anyway. By the way, when we cook beans at home, we'll actually keep the beans at a temperature of about 190 to 200 degrees. And you don't want to go over that boiling point, because once you start boiling, you start agitating. And if you just want to cook like a crock pot of beans, you just keep it below that boiling point and they just swell. Then you can drain them off, bag them up, and they're all whole. So that's what you would use for salads and different things like that. And they just have a beautiful look to them. If you're making soup, then you can boil them up and everything. So, okay. How many of you have ever used bulgur wheat? B-U-L-G-E-R, bulgur wheat. A couple people. Okay, we're going to do some bulgur wheat here. This is bulgur wheat. Now this right here is a ratio situation too. I've got 1 part bulgur wheat to 2 1/4 parts of water. And as long as you have that ratio, it'll turn out perfect every time. 1 part bulgur wheat, 2 1/4 parts of water. And today we're going to do some fusion cooking. Now fusion cooking is where you take different cultures and you mix them together. So I'm going to put a little bit of soy sauce in here, which that's not a lot because it's a really big pot and it's low sodium. But what you're getting here is we're going to have the Southwest flavor from the bean pot, and then we're going to top it with a little Asian flavored bulgur wheat. And when you get that fusion of 2 different cultures together, it just gives it a real wow factor. So that's what we're doing there. And that one's on, so we'll bring that to a boil. Okay. Didn't catch that one, did you? We'll see how fast he is with the camera. All right, I'm going to get some cutting going here. And for those of you that don't know, I'll give you a quick little rundown. I grew up in South Dakota, little town of 300 people, and went to college up in Tacoma, Washington. And back when I was in college, let me tell you, I worked at about 100 different restaurants. And once I learned everything one restaurant was doing, I'd go to the next. Even if it was less pay, because I wanted to see what they were doing. I just loved it. I could go into any restaurant and show them my resume, and they'd be like, "You're a cook. When can you start?" You know, it was just that way. And when I went to go check out culinary arts schools, I found out I knew more than the instructors did. So I never went to culinary arts school. I've been offered jobs as a culinary art instructor at different universities. And I know, you're looking at this like, well, how come he's not looking at what he's doing here? Does he have all his fingers? I actually got most of my fingers still. Okay, I got them all. Let me show you how to use a knife. All right, y'all want to know how to use a knife, right? Take your knife. You're going to take your index finger and just hook your index finger. And then the knife is going to make contact with your first knuckle on your index finger. And your knife is never going to leave contact with that first knuckle, ever. Now, what you want to do is make sure that your knuckle is where you're cutting the food. You don't want your knuckle over here by the handle, or you're just going to cut your knuckle off. And you don't want your finger over here by the tip, or the tip is just going to cut the end of your finger off. So you want it right where you're cutting the food. Now, as long as your knuckle never leaves the knife, and the knife never leaves the cutting board, you're never going to cut yourself. It's when you start going airborne that you're going to have some problems, okay? So, but you'll get faster and faster, and pretty soon you're going to be able to get some air through there because you know exactly by habit how far you can go with that knife. So that's the way you learn how to use a knife. And anyway, yeah, ended up going to Laughlin, Nevada, got a job as a sous chef, and went to Las Vegas, Nevada, got a job as assistant executive chef. I was with the Tropicana. Some of you might have heard about that place. And at the age of 24, I was the youngest executive chef ever of a casino in Las Vegas. My biggest event was 30,000 people for one event. Biggest series was 1.2 million plates of food in 9 days. This would be the size of my dishwashing team. Yeah. My day shift here, my swing shift here, I'd still need a bunch more people for graveyard. But that's the kind of volume we did, just, you know, and catering for all these celebrities, of course. And so, oh, look at this. This is boiling, isn't it? So since this is boiling, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set this aside and let its own energy do the cooking. That's the thing I like about this. You can just set it aside, come back 45 minutes later, and we're ready to eat. And you don't have to worry about it burning. You don't have to waste any more fuel on it, and it's good to go. So right here, we're going to take these potatoes and carrots. We're actually going to make cheese out of potatoes and carrots. And let me tell you, how many of you have ever had that cashew cheese? Okay, now cashew cheese is good, but this cheese is 1/5 the fat. You know, those cashews are really fatty. And it's 1/5 the price. Those cashews are expensive. So this is going to save you a ton of money, plus it tastes a lot better. So you're going to love this one. We'll get that baby boiling and it'll be good to go. And this one's already starting to warm up there. I just got to make sure that I don't burn it. I need a bigger spoon, don't I? I left it at the last location. I went to go look for it today, and I'm like, oh no, somebody took my spoon at the last stop. So, anyway, yeah, I started working for the federal school lunch program. And let me tell you, with the federal school lunch program, not one single time did we ever get fresh fruits and vegetables. Mostly what we got was bags of eggs and blocks of cheese, boxes of meats, a lot of pre-made stuff, the pre-made grilled cheese sandwiches and the pre-made chili dogs, you know, with cholesterol and cheese and everything loaded with cholesterol. And we're forced to feed that to the kids. And let me tell you, it has not changed much over the years. Now, I do like what Michelle Obama was doing when she went into that federal school lunch program. She really rattled some people around a little bit. The problem is you did not have the intelligent people in those positions that knew enough about nutrition to make it better. And it actually ended up becoming worse. So great intentions, but horrible implementation on it. And in fact, let me share this with you here. I was up in Michigan last year. I got to share this with you here. Where's it at? It's in my new news here. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. This is from the New York Times. Congress has officially declared pizza as being a vegetable on the federal school lunch program. Yeah, back in 2011, lobbyists spent $5.6 million buying off Congress to make sure pizza would be a vegetable. It's got tomato sauce. And let me tell you, I was up in Michigan, and they had, I was in a middle school, a public middle school, and expensive milk posters everywhere. I did a video on it. I zoomed in on their menu. They have pizza as an alternative meal every single day of the week. So your kids can go to school, have pizza every day of the week, and they tally it up as a vegetable. In Pennsylvania, it costs 25 cents for bottled waters, but little boxes of milk are free. You know, it's just an upside down world we're living in. And let me tell you, I don't know what's next, but I'm thinking maybe we could take those chicken nuggets. Maybe we should start calling those a grain. Right? I mean, they're breaded. Pretty soon all the kids will be vegetarians. Just recategorize all the food. I'll bet you Tyson is all over that. They're probably really trying to lobby that one through Congress. But this is the upside down world we live in. And then I started working for Sodexo. I don't know if any of you know who Sodexo is. A few people? Okay. Sodexo is the largest hospitality management team on the planet with 500,000 employees. Now, I was an executive chef for Sodexo. My job was to open up new hospitals. And they'd fly me into town. I'd hire the crew, hire the team, train the managers, train the entire crew. And I mean, I had to take care of everything. Retail, doctor's lounges, dietary, all the inspections. Isn't that a nice way to cut those tomatoes? Once you lay them flat like that, it's real easy to just get your knife in there. And if you want to do a 6 cut, you just kind of give it a little angle there and a little angle there, and boom, look at that, it's already done. So, one of those little tricks to get things done fast. And I was in charge of the entire operation. And so I'd be there for a couple months, and they'd fly me out to another property. Sometimes I was doing remodels. And then back in Vegas, in between hospitals, I had 2 hospitals I was at there. And a lot of times with those, I would just take care of the doctors, take care of all the VIP stuff going on, that type of thing. And but let me tell you, here I was pushing 325 pounds, and I'm looking at myself saying, man, I got to do something, or I'm going to end up being one of those people in this hospital. And all the doctors and nurses are all telling me, yep, you got to get your cholesterol down, lose some weight, you know, this type of thing. And I told the doctor, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go 40 days without any red meat. So that's what I did. I went 40 days without any red meat. And let me tell you, the first 5 days was pretty rough. I was like, man, I don't think I can do this. But I stuck to it, and the next 30 days I was fine, had no cravings for red meat. And then all of a sudden, the last 5 days, I started craving red meat again. And I'm like, how is this? I just went 35 days without any red meat. Now I'm going to crave a hamburger? And the closer it got to my 40 days being up, the more I was craving it. It was like 1 day left. I was like, man. I was calling my friends on the phone saying, let's go hit the prime rib buffets, you know. I mean, we get prime rib in Vegas for $6.95. All you can eat, yeah. And but I couldn't figure out the problem. How, after 40 days, could I be craving red meat that much? And I figured out the problem. Well, I figured out the solution, okay? And that is that we need to make sure that our minds are in control of our bodies instead of our bodies being in control of our minds. Amen? See, this is what's going on out there. People are giving in to their bodily cravings. I mean, in more ways than one, but especially when it comes to food. They just give the body whatever the body wants. And then they wonder why we're so unhealthy. And we need to make sure that the intelligent part of our body is just making those good choices on a daily basis. And the doctors were loving it. They were loving it. In fact, Dr. Suresh, he comes up to me and says, Mark, I won $100 off you this week. It's all gambling in Vegas. They bet on anything. And but Dr. Suresh, he's like, Mark, you got to get off the milk and cheese. In fact, that's what we did, I think, the first time I was here. I did a class on milk and cheese. And let me share this with you here because I'm not going to give you a whole class on it today. But Framingham Medical Studies, let me see, Cornell University. They said if you're going vegetarian, so you're not eating any meats, but you're consuming milk and cheese, they said that's like going from 60 cigarettes a day down to 50 cigarettes a day. You're just not doing your body that much good. You're actually better off getting off the milk and cheese. That's Cornell University's quote. And so I told the doctor, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go all vegan, no animal products. And he said, go for it. He says, you will not have any problems. So that's what I did. I went all vegan, plant strong, whatever you want to call it. But this time, I did not put that block wall out there 40 days later for me to run into again. I said, I'm just going to get on this path and keep taking steps. And let me tell you, within a couple weeks, I started feeling better. Within a month, I was like, man, I'm losing weight. I'm hitting a new hole in my belt loop. And then, I had a 48-inch waist. Now I'm down to a 38. And hopefully I can get down to that 36. I got a stack of jeans at home, 36-inch waist. I've had them in my closet for 30 years. They're all brand new with the labels and everything still on them. And the Levi's worth $7.95. So that's how old I am, yeah. But Dr. Suresh, let me tell you, he had me come do blood tests. So I'm going to give you my blood tests here real quick, a little before and after here. He just sent me a thing to go get more, so as soon as I get home, I'm going to have another test. I try to get them done every year or so. 60 pounds difference in between these two, and just a couple years. Let's see, my cholesterol was at 263, probably well over 300, but I was already getting healthy. Now it's at 118. Triglycerides were at 274. Now they're at 91. HDL went up the way it was supposed to. LDL went down from 159 down to 59. Went down 100 points on the LDL. H for higher, L for lower. Everything on here was perfect. Calcium, 9.2. Actually on the high side. And the doctor's like, you're eating a lot of salads, aren't you? I was like, yeah, every day. That's where you get your calcium. You know, most people are never going to have a problem not getting enough calcium. It just doesn't happen. And especially, you know, if you're eating those greens, the darker the greens, the better the calcium levels. Protein, 7.0, exactly where it was supposed to be. Going all vegan with no animal products whatsoever, and my protein was perfect. And if I share this with you real quick here, because everybody's like, where am I going to get my protein? Isn't that a big psychological? Baked potatoes, 3.9 grams of protein per serving. Peas have 9 grams of protein per serving. Lentils, 16 grams of protein per serving. Broccoli, 5.8 grams. Pound for pound, broccoli has more protein than steak. Yeah. Now, it does take a lot of broccoli to make a pound, all right? It's really lightweight, but pound for pound. Spinach is at 5.4, brown rice is at 4.8. Even a banana has 1.2 grams of protein. Let me tell you, you are never going to have a problem not getting enough protein. It just doesn't happen. In fact, let me share, I got to share this with you real quick here. Wait. What was that? Let me see. This is from the World Health Organization. The average guy only needs 55 grams a day. The average woman only needs 44, according to their standards. Okay, I always got to point that out. National average in America is 120 grams a day. So we're almost 3 times the amount of protein that we're supposed to be having. And now they know that too much protein causes kidney damage and kidney stones. Now here's the interesting part too, just to share this with you. It's from another class, but people that are renal patients on a renal diet, they put them on a high protein diet. They actually know now that it's a low protein diet. Additional analysis confirmed long-time renal failure in patients with lower protein intake. In conclusion, even secondary analysis studies suggest lower protein intake retards the progression of advanced renal diseases. They know that renal patients should be on a low protein diet, and it literally stops the damage and progression of renal failure, kidney failure. So, this is the upside down world we live in, but they're still giving them high protein. It's like putting gasoline on the fuel, on the fire. It's just crazy. But I'm going to make some banana dressing here real quick. Well, let me ask you the questions. I'll put the questions in your hands here. What 3? Well, sometimes. What's up? And they're not. So let me ask you the question then. Here's the question I'm going to put up to you. What are the 3 nutrients that society's always telling you you're low on? It's going to be vitamin D, protein, and calcium, right? You need more vitamin D, you need more calcium, you need more protein. What are the 3 nutrients, basically the only 3 nutrients you get out of animal products? Vitamin D, protein, and calcium. The exact same 3 nutrients. Now, isn't that a coincidence? And even though we have the highest consumption of animal products in the history of the planet, how can we be the lowest on those exact same 3 nutrients? It's just not possible. And the problem is we are in this fragmentized society. And as long as you hear things enough times, you're going to start believing it. And most of the stuff we hear is from people who are trying to sell you something. They're either trying to sell you products that are fortified with vitamin D or protein or, have those nutrients in it, or they're trying to sell you the drugs of those products, see? Or they're part of the treatment when you actually get the diseases from those things. But this is the upside down world we live in. I'm going to make a lot because there's a lot of people here. Anyway, you got to kind of look at those fragmentations that are out there. And there is so much compelling evidence out there that says you don't need all that vitamin D, you don't need that protein, and you don't need that calcium. Dr. McDougall would probably be your best number 1 to look at. Get his emails. He sends out emails. He does webinars, things like that. And that will really be amazing to you. So let me make this salad dressing here real quick. And we're going to need salad dressing here. And we're going to do bananas and brown mustard. How's that sound? What? No? Oh, I thought you were going to like that. All right, how about bananas and red wine vinegar? Is that better? You're being rough today. It's non-alcoholic. It's non-fermented. It's not like it used to be. The old vinegars used to be fermented, but these are all steam processed. But you can do lemon, so if you don't like the red wine vinegar, you can do lemon. Is honey okay? Would that be okay for you? All right. Well, just say when. When, okay. And of course, my secret ingredient, being the whoops, that's the wrong one. Being the Southwest guy that I am, I'm going to put a little shot of cumin in there. And boom. Now, I know that sounds really crazy, doesn't it? And you will want to add a couple drops of water to it as well. Just a couple drops, right. And give this baby a blend. Just that easy. You've got salad dressing for your salad. And let me tell you, it does not turn brown in the fridge. We've had it in there for weeks. And it is so good. But you got to understand, I teach concepts, okay? These ingredients is what you find in a lot of salad dressings, don't you? So all I'm doing is using the bananas as a thickener. You can do this with any salad dressing. Take regular Italian dressing, put a banana in there, boom, you got creamy Italian just like that. So you can really do, kids don't like bananas? Zip, there you go, they'll never know they're there. Yeah, so, yeah, you'll have a lot of fun with that. There's so many things you can do with it. And okay, that's boiling good. This one's doing pretty good. It's getting a little heavy on the bottom. So, but that's okay. I can feel it a little heavy on the bottom. So I'm gonna shut this off. It's such a big pot today that I've got to be real careful with it. Okay, what was I doing here? What was I doing? Oh, no, wait, the blood test, right? Yeah. I'm a little hypoglycemic, and I'm ADHD and a couple other things I can't even pronounce, yeah. They're pre-diagnosing me, aren't they? This is without the drugs, too. Now, just to let you know, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. My entire family, 300 to 400 pounds. I got a couple brothers that are 400 pounds. My sister died at the age of 54 from cancer. I think that was right before I was here last time. And my glucose was at 106 in the high zone. Now it's at 83, right where it's supposed to be. And I hardly ever have hypoglycemic tendencies anymore. Very, very rarely. I got new news again for you. New news. Where is it? Where is it? Here. In case you didn't catch this. Journal of American Medical Associations back in September. Over 50% of the population in America is now either diabetic or pre-diabetic. Over 50%. That is at epidemic levels. And it's all because of diet. 99.9% because of diet. And of course, unless you're a type 1. Because that's not reversible. But type 2 diabetes is very easily reversible. That's the Journal of American Medical Associations. Now, the one thing I was low on, anybody guess? B12. Now, it was in the right zone at 329, but it was on the low side, so doctors got me taking a B12 supplement. And just to let you know, I did homework on B12 too, because 100 years ago, nobody had B12 deficiencies like they do today. Even people that were eating a healthy, plant-strong lifestyle 50 years ago never had B12 deficiencies. So why do we have B12 deficiencies today? The reason is we're washing our food too much. I know you got to wash your food. Okay, I understand the arguments there. But you got to understand something. B12 is a bacteria that grows on rooted plants. And when you're peeling your potatoes and carrots, you're peeling away B12. That's why I did not peel these potatoes and these carrots. And back when I was a kid, we'd be out in the garden. We just rub the dirt off the carrots and eat them out in the garden. We weren't all paranoid, all scrubbing and peeling. And it's not you, not just you. I mean, the factories do it too. So it's just the way it is. I mean, back in the olden days, Mom and Pop would just chop it up and throw it in the pot. That's just the way it was. So we're losing our B12 because of that. And think about this. Where do the cows get their B12 from? The grass and the roots and the dirt and everything that they're eating. That's where the cows get their B12 and pass it along to humans. And I'm thinking about this, and I said, you know what? If it's that easy for cows to pass B12 on to humans just from the grass that they're eating, how easy is it for them to pass along those dozens of injections that they get every year? Yeah, I mean, especially those milking cows. Most of those milking cows get more estrogen in 1 year than women produce in an entire lifetime. And it's in the milk and the cheese and the meat when they chop them up. And so we're getting bombarded by all these, hormone things going on. So kind of makes you wonder why we're all messed up nowadays, right? Yeah, it's crazy out there. Just crazy. By the way, I do wash all my food before it comes up here, just to let you know. But yeah, it really is an upside down world. And here, let me share with you another thing that's really upside down about this world today. In society, they have their smallest meal for breakfast, a bigger lunch, and a bigger dinner. And what we need to do is turn that whole system upside down. Have your biggest meal for breakfast, a smaller lunch, and a smaller dinner. And when you do this, it's going to do a couple really important things for you. The first thing it does, you're not going to be hungry all day long. When you eat nothing for breakfast, you're actually starving yourself all day. So you have to have bigger meals and bigger meals. And then you have your biggest meal before you go to bed, which doesn't even make sense. But you actually eat way too much food that way. And here in America, we just eat way too much food. So if you have your biggest meal for breakfast, you're going to eat less throughout the day. So that's going to save you a lot of money, for one. You're eating less. Plus, it's going to save you a lot of calories. And the other big plus about having your biggest meal for breakfast, you're going to have more energy throughout the day. I have more energy now than I did back when I was in my 20s. So that's going to help keep you active, burning more calories. Helps weight control. The other big benefit is when you're more active, you're going to maintain better muscle tone, better joints, better ligaments, better everything. And that's what helps give you a longevity of a healthier, more vibrant life into your older years. I mean, y'all want to live to be 100. You're not going to want to live to be 100 if you're in horrible physical condition the last 30, 40 years. And it will actually really help. So it's a win-win-win in every way, shape, and form. And let me show you how slow things happen in society so you don't notice it. Have any of you ever heard of this word, supper? Couple people? Okay, not a lot, but okay. Yeah, that's like the last meal of the day, in case you didn't know. In California, they have no clue what it is because it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? It used to be breakfast, dinner, supper. Breakfast was the biggest meal of the day, and then dinner became the biggest meal of the day at midday, and then the smallest meal was still supper. But then lunch came in, and dinner said, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm kicking supper out of the way. So dinner kicked supper out of there and moved the biggest meal of the day from midday to the evening meal. And this happened over many generations that this had all happened. And now it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And how many of you even know what the definition of the word supper is? Snack. Yes. See, they knew all along that dinner, supper, the last meal of the day was supposed to be the smallest. But we are in this absolute upside down world. And so we've just got to think a different way. And now, I've got these charts here I want to share with you. I've only got a few of these left. I actually saved a bunch. I put them aside just for this event, but I probably don't have enough for everybody. But this is a new chart that I've been working on, and I have them available on my website too. So, but it's a tracking system. You want to start tracking what you're doing. And not for the goal of losing weight or something like that. Of course, you will lose weight when you do this. But every single day I track, and this has 6 weeks on the front and then another 6 weeks on the back. And so you track what you're doing. And my number one thing is prayer, my morning prayer time. I have that every day. I want to see how much time I'm spending in prayer every day. Might be 15 minutes, might be an hour, that type of thing. And I know when I got a bad week and I look back and I'm like, man, I didn't have much prayer time that week. So I always do that first. And then I've got my workout here. How much time are you exercising? Even if it's a half-hour walk every day or a 1-hour walk every day, that's what you do. If you go into the health club for an hour, I write down I went to the health club for an hour. And I always track what exercise I do. And I've noticed when I first started doing this, look at that. I went 5 days in a row without a workout. And when you see this on paper, then you start visualizing, hey, there's a problem there. It indicates flags. That's why I've got it in a big thing, so it's not going to be, hidden in some notepad or on your computer where you can ignore it. You want something really big in your face. Big breakfast. Here's the other one, water. How much water are you drinking? And speaking of which, do you all know what the number one antioxidant on the planet is? Water. It made me think about it, so. You got to get this about the water. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces. Now, me weighing 250 pounds, I need to be drinking 125 ounces, which is about a gallon a day. When I first started tracking this, I was doing a quarter of a gallon a day. And I was like, whoa, I got to do something different here. Now I'm up 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon every day. Very consistent about it. And I feel a lot better. It's amazing. But water helps flush things out of your system immediately, and water brings more oxygen to the blood, which the oxygen in the blood is one of the most important things. Framingham Medical Studies, they did these studies, and they found out that when you consume animal products, the animal fat surrounds all your blood cells, and then you don't get the right amount of oxygen in the blood, which is one of the number one reasons why we have cancers. Because when you have the right amount of oxygen in your blood will remove those cancer cells on a regular basis. But when you coat your blood with animal fat, then you're not getting the right amount of oxygen, and your blood cannot filter out those cancer cells and harmful particles. I mean, we're getting bombarded nowadays. But so I do track the water here. And let me tell you, I did more homework on this water situation, and I found out that there's more to it than just the water. How many of you know the difference between an alkaline body and an acidic body? Okay, few people. Alkaline bodies, cancers can't even survive in an alkaline body. Acidic bodies is where cancers thrive. Now, just drinking water alone will increase your alkaline levels as well as bringing oxygen to the blood. So it's actually helping you in two ways to, be a cancer-free entity. It doesn't change it a lot, and different waters have different pH balances and things like that. But I said, let me do some more homework here. Let's look at the foods we eat. What foods have the highest water content? Watermelon, celery, cucumbers, very good ones. Lettuce, grapes, it's all your fruits and vegetables. Beans have one of the highest water contents of anything. Oats is one of the highest water contents of anything because they're water absorbers, see? And so they're categorized in the highest water content. Now, what foods have the lowest water content of anything? It's all your meats. And I thought, well, isn't this interesting? But I said, I'm going to do even more homework. And I went to a lot of universities' websites and looking for the acidic levels versus the alkaline levels of foods. And even Dr. Oz, if you want to go to his website, he's got a list. And most of them are pretty consistent. There's a few little oddballs out there. And for the most part, guess what foods create the highest alkaline level in your body? It's all your plant-strong foods. And the foods that create the most acidic level in your bodies, it's all your animal products, including the milk and cheese. So any way you look at it, it is a win-win-win to eat more fruits and vegetables. It's just that way, plant-strong foods. And of course, the big one, which people kind of ignore nowadays, is fiber. Where do you get all your fiber? Plants, fruits, and vegetables. And how much fiber is in animal products? None. Zero. Any way you look at it. And I could go on and on about the statistical facts too, but let's see how this is doing. By the way, I got to give you an update on my brother, because the last time I was here, my brother, he had a cholesterol level of 1,000. He had a heart attack. He went in the hospital. They put in a stent. And I can't remember if I was here right before, because it's been 3.5 years. So it was right before I was here. And I put him on an all-vegan lifestyle for 3 weeks. The guy's 400 pounds. He was white as a ghost. No reaction in his skin, cloudy eyes. And I didn't know he'd make it through the 3 weeks, you know. We did a blood test. His cholesterol was at 900 when I got there. And 3 weeks going all vegan, his cholesterol went from 900 down to 300 and change. Started getting color back in his skin. He started feeling better. He's like, I can't believe this. And I told him, I said, look, I said, I've already lost, 60 pounds at that time, and I said, it works. And so now, it's been 3.5 years now. Just talked to him the other day. And he's got his cholesterol down to 170, and he's lost over 100 pounds. Now, let me tell you what I did for him. You have to do this. I took everything in his kitchen that was unhealthy and threw it away. I actually made him throw it in the trash. And let me tell you, he was mad. I'm talking buckets of ice cream, blocks of cheese, salami, cold cuts, pizzas, milk. I mean, he was like, oh, after I'm done eating it, I won't buy it again. I said, no, just throw it away. I'll fill up your fridge. Don't worry about it. And he says, well, let's give it to the neighbors. I said, no, just throw it away. And to this day, he still will never forget that day he threw out his hard-earned dollars. And I turned his refrigerator into a full-blown salad bar. Everything you could ever imagine. I gave him the recipes. He's got the entire way to rotate. And let me tell you, if you're going to bring produce home from the grocery store, wash it before it goes in your fridge. Hopefully you can prep it and cut it and do whatever you need to do. Because if you don't, your mind is going to be saying, oh, I don't want to mess with that. I got to wash it. I got to clean it. I got to cut it. Ooh, potato chips. Right. Where at least if it's washed and hopefully cut and prepped, then your mind is saying, ooh, fast food. I can just grab and go. So it's the way you design your kitchens that gives you success. And let me tell you, I did a full-blown oatmeal station for him. I've got an oatmeal station, even one in the trailer. I've done one for my dad. Take 2 cupboard doors and do the biggest oatmeal station you can. Everything you can ever imagine for oatmeal. And I mean, I've got regular oats and quick oats and grits and cream of wheat, steel cut oats, hard red winter wheat and brown rice. I've got, because I'll use those for crock pots overnight. They work great for crock pots. Let's see here. I've got containers like this with raisins and craisins and dried blueberries, almonds, pecans, walnuts, ground flaxseed, wheat germ, hemp powder, coconut flakes, just all these fun toppings, everything you could ever imagine. And then on the next shelf, I've got containers of spices, not this big either. If you can buy spices like this, save your money, go for it. But I've got smaller ones. Cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, apple pie spice, that's what I had this morning. Pumpkin pie, get the pumpkin pie spice right now. It is so good. This is when it's the freshest. It's like fantastic. And then I've got sweeteners. I've got some brown sugar, which is just sugar and molasses. Don't let that fool you like it's a health food or something. But my favorite is stevia. And then I've got honey and maple syrup and a couple things like that. And here's what you do. I'm going to show you how to make oatmeal real quick. Take any bowl, fill it about 1/2 to 3/4 full of oats. You can use any kind of oats except those steel cut oats. There is a brand new quick steel cut oats. Have you seen those yet? Yeah, look for them. It's in every grocery store, quick steel cut oats. And you can use those, but they do swell up a lot more than the regular oats. So, but you put whatever oats you want in here, about 1/2 to 3/4 full, add whatever toppings you want, whatever sweeteners you want, and then just take boiling hot water and fill it up. I've got a boiling pot out there, it just boils water in 1 minute. And then just give it a stir, and you come back 5 minutes later and it's ready to eat. So there's no more of this dirtying up pots. There's no more of this microwave messes. Every person can create their own oatmeal and have a different oatmeal every day of the month. Kids can come home from school and create their own oatmeals. It is so easy, and they can have healthy snacks instead of this garbage that they're eating. And it's just that way. And it takes a little time, by the way, to get in this habit, because we have animal fat and cholesterol on our taste buds, and once you get that animal fat off your taste buds, takes about a month, then your taste buds start working the way they're supposed to. I mean, I crave oatmeal. It's amazing how much I crave oatmeal. I would have never ate oatmeal before. I would have never ate salads before, unless it was on a cheeseburger, but. And now, we don't even put salad dressing on our salads. My wife will make salads, and we don't even put salad dressing on them. And it just tastes, and I would have never thought that before, but it just tastes so good. Your taste buds are really experiencing all those great flavors, so it's really amazing. Now, one thing you want to do, too, let me tell you about my other brother, though. My other brother, Wayne, he's got a cattle farm up in Wyoming. Not that interested in getting healthy. He weighs about 400 pounds. And we went up to him, this was last year, and I go behind his house. And let me tell you, behind his house, he's got a feed truck. And all the cows come running over when they see that feed truck. And he goes out to the cows, and he's like, hey, little cow. And I'm like stepping back because these are big animals, And he goes and hugs them and pets them and scratches their ears and talks to them. And, of course, then he decides which one he wants to eat, It's like a love-hate thing for him or something, but he called me not too long ago, and he said, Mark, we've been eating veggie burgers for the last few weeks. And I thought, cool, maybe he saw me lose 75 pounds now, and then he sees my brother lose 100. My sister down in Arizona is getting healthy. She's been going Plant Strong. She adopted 2 autistic kids, and she's having huge success with them, putting them on a Plant Strong. I don't know enough about that. I really want to learn about, is there something there? But anyway, and I thought maybe my brother Wayne was going to start getting healthy. He's eating veggie burgers. And then he said, my other cow, I named him Black Bean. Yeah, he said, next month we're having black bean burgers and black bean steaks. And I think these got about 5 minutes left, and then we can boil them up. They just got a couple minutes left. The potatoes are kind of good. I'd give it just another couple minutes here. Now one of the best things you got to do is read those labels too. Be a label reader. These labels are changing all the time. I quit eating potato chips about 5 years ago, and I'll get raisins and craisins and dried blueberries and almonds and pecans, and I make my own blends. I found out I would have went through $50 worth of potato chips before I go through a $10 jar of nuts. Saves me money, snacking a little better, but don't eat the Planters dry roasted peanuts anymore. These are now made with pork. Ooh, this label came out 2 years ago. The old label used to say peanuts, peanut oil, and sea salt. The new label, peanuts, sea salt, sugar, MSG now, gelatin, which is your pork gelatin, and then it's still got about 10 more ingredients here. But the front still says, made with pure sea salt. How's that? Look at it, I can get it on the camera. Even though there's 15 ingredients right there, that's what they got, And so this is what's going on. And that's what they get away with. Hormel chili, 98% fat-free. They'll always put these selling tactics on the front. I will not buy anything that says fortified, including your milks. And a lot of these fortifications, they're done with synthetic nutrients. They're not even real nutrients. I mean, they're synthetically developed. And this one here, let's see, 98% fat-free, 27% cholesterol, 51% sodium, plus there's 2 portions in a can. So you want to look at portion sizes because a lot of times they're manipulating the portion sizes to make the numbers work better on the back. And let me tell you, we did a video here last year, and a portion was actually, for potato chips, was 7 chips. That's like one bite for me. You know, it is. And look at this. This is chili on the front label. It's a picture of a salad. I mean, they really want to make it look healthy, so they put a salad on the front label. Jif with omega-3. Everyone's like, oh, let me get the healthy Jif. This one's actually made with anchovies and sardines. I mean, if you like anchovies with your peanut butter sandwich, they're already in there, so might save you a step. And this is going to blow you away. This is one of those things I'm turning the world upside down about. Calories is 190. Calories from fat is 140. So this is 75% calories from fat. This is 70% calories from fat. And bottom line is, we need to have our calories from fat on a daily consumption at 10%. The best doctors in the world, Dr. McDougall, Hans Diehl, Neil Bernard, I mean, I've got a dozen of the best doctors in the world that know all this. And they'll all tell you that. Some of them will wiggle, 15, 20%. But the bottom line is, if you're eating stuff that's 50, 75%, 100% calories from fat, they're weight gainers. Plus, they activate the liver to produce more cholesterol. And the other big kicker about these, type 2 diabetics, for generations, doctors have been taught that type 2 diabetes is a sugar problem or a carb problem. It's not. It is a fat problem. You eliminate the fats, you eliminate type 2 diabetes. And if you want the best book out there, it would have to be Dr. Neil Bernard, N-E-A-L, Neil Barnard, B-A-R-N-A-R-D, called Reversing Diabetes. And within 2 to 3 weeks, you're completely off your meds. And that's what you do. You just eliminate the animal products with all those fats and get your fat content. Eat the olive instead of the olive oil. Eat the corn instead of the corn oil. Eat the soy instead of the soy oil. What else? Coconut instead of the coconut oil. And you'll get your fats, avocados instead of avocado oils. But that is the problem, is the oils. And it's amazing. Now, it used to only be a handful of doctors that knew this, and then hundreds of doctors knew it, and now there's thousands of doctors that know this, but there's still millions of doctors that don't. We're still at that stage that they're learning, though, so amen to that. But yeah, read those labels. It is so important. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Oh, this is just such a big pot. And I'm going to shut that off one more time. You can see it's all steaming, though, and it is hot. Caliente. Okay, we're going to get this baby here. I've got the cheese ready to go. In fact, there's a really good book you want to read. It's called The End of Overeating by David Kessler. And I think I got that book on the flyer there, too. I keep adding books. I got to keep adding them to my website, too. But The End of Overeating by David Kessler. Now, he was the head of the Food and Drug Administration, and he found out that the manufacturers of food hire scientists to find out how to make their food as addictive as possible. Whatever it takes to make that food addictive. That's why they're changing these labels. You ever open up something, and 30 seconds later, you're reopening it to get more? Because it's specifically designed to be addictive. And he said all the fast food restaurants hire scientists to make their food addictive. Even the hamburger buns at McDonald's are specifically designed for addiction. They also found out that there's an exact combination of sugar, oil, and salt. And if you get that exact combination of sugar, oil, and salt on any product, it will trigger your endorphins. And with chemicals, you'll desire that food even if all you do is see a picture of that food a month later. That's how addictive they can make the food. So look for those triggers, sugar, oil, and salt. Now in this, they're using the oil in the nut as the oil, plus the sugar, plus the salt, plus the MSG. Boom, you got an addiction. And just look at popcorn. If I did hot air popped popcorn with nothing on it, you'd eat one piece and that's it. You'd be like, spit it out. Now, if I did nothing but oil, man, you're not going to like it. And if I did nothing but salt, you're still going to be like, this just doesn't do it. Now, if we did salt and oil, like that salted butter, right? Man, you'd be getting every little half kernel you could out of there. There's another one. Get that piece off of there and lick the bowl. Now, let's talk caramel corn. Kettle corn. With the sugar, oil, and salt. You'll go down to the grocery store and get another bag, because it's that addictive. Most people just buy 2 bags because they know they're going to use it. So, okay, let's get this cheese done here because I'm hungry. We're ready to eat. Okay, we're going to do our garlic and onion here. And I'm going to do the same thing, 1 part garlic, 2 parts onion. And how many of you have used McKay's chicken style seasoning? This is really good. There's a couple other ones too. You can get Bill's Best. Better Than Bouillon has one, like Whole Foods has a Better Than Bouillon. A lot of the grocery stores carry that. And there's beef less or chicken less. It's all vegan, so those are good. And then we're going to add some nutritional yeast flakes. Has anybody ever used these before? These are really good. It's a derivative of molasses, okay? High in B12. And by the way, they're expensive. They run $8 to $12 a pound. But it's extremely lightweight. So you get a lot of miles for this. And now you can add oil to it if you want, which will give it that greasy sensation in your mouth, which is kind of like the 6th taste bud that they don't recognize, but I do. I know it's there. I don't add oil at home. I just don't. And then you can add this potato water in there. And we're going to get this just about level, but a little bit below the level point there. And then we're going to give this a blend, and it will take about 1 minute. So let's get this baby blending here. It's doing good. Okay, and just like that, you've made cheese out of potatoes and carrots. How's that? Now, this does have some little brown specks in it because I did not peel the potatoes and the carrots. But let me tell you, we went to my sister's house, and we did this for a whole bunch of football players that were over there, and did not tell her that it was, did not tell the football players that it was all vegan. And none of them knew the difference. They thought it was that cheddar cheese for nachos. And look at that. This stuff is absolutely amazing. You can freeze this. If you freeze it, it will separate a little bit. So when you thaw it out and then you reheat it, just give it a wire whip or put it back in the blender. But I usually just take a wire whip and whip it, and it turns right back into cheese. We've had it in the fridge for weeks without it going bad. Now, I don't recommend that because I don't know how your temperatures are in your fridges and things like that. But the bottom line is it's a very durable product. And it's probably one of the healthiest things you could ever have. And we will take the steamed vegetables. We'll take a steam pot and just plate up a whole bunch of steamed vegetables of every sort, put the cheese over the top. Macaroni and cheese. Take cooked macaroni, put this on top, you're done. You know, if you want to put some breadcrumbs on it and just toast it in the oven on the top there, people will actually believe it's a baked macaroni and cheese. They'll never know the difference. It is so good. Soups, you can do veggie, potato cheese soup, broccoli cheese soup, queso dips. Just add your green chilies to it. Add your salsas to it. There are so many things to do with this. And let me tell you, you are never going to know. And it's that good. So take that recipe with you, and you'll be using it a couple times a week, every week. I have not used this for lasagnas. I do have other cheese recipes. I've got about a dozen of them, and even hard cheeses that you can slice and things like that. But it's a whole different type of cheese. Yeah, this one's just for this type of thing. All right, let's get this watermelon cut up here. By the way, these watermelons are about done for the year, aren't they? Look for the heavy, solid watermelons. White stems are not quite ready to eat yet. Brown stems are ready to eat. So I always get the brown stems. And yellow bellies, the farmers always tell me get the yellow bellies. And we'll just give this baby a slice all the way around like this. My mom, she didn't get too many watermelons. She was always like, oh, they're just so expensive. And she did not want to carry them home from the grocery store. That was her big excuse. I remember those days. Or she'd be like, they take up so much room in the fridge and they're so tough to cut. It's like, come here, Mom, let me show you how to cut a watermelon. And by the way, anytime I'm cutting something, I always get what I'm not going to use out of the way. So the only thing left is my usable product. And it makes it so much easier and manageable. And then we just cut this baby in half and lay it flat. Once you got it here, it's really easy to do. You do a couple slices this way. Of course, if you're going to do this at home, don't put your hand on this side, okay? Keep your hand on top so you don't go slicing your fingers off. And then you do slices this way, just like a checkerboard. And you can make these slices as big or as small as you want, too. Then you go this way. Just like that. And literally in 1 minute, you got your entire watermelon cut up. How's that? Easy enough? I should have been a cook. Watch, Pastor. Next time you have a fellowship meal, you'll probably have 50 people all bringing watermelon. All right. And, let me do this soup right here real quick. Give this baby a blend. And what this does, it thickens it for one, but you're bursting all the flavors of those vegetables right at the last minute. It works really good. You can take any soup, put 20% in the blender, and give it a blend, and then put it back in the soup, and you're taking your regular soup and turning it into Wow Factor soup. And so we're going to take a bowl of this right here. Check out this bulgur wheat. Bulgur wheat, look at that. Ready to go. Just looks fabulous. We'll actually chill this, and then after it's chilled, we'll bag it up in quart baggies and stack it up in the freezer, which I also have a video. If you go to my website, go to my YouTube channel, I got videos on how to design your refrigerator for success, how to design your freezer for success, your cupboards, things like that. And what did I do with, oh, here it is. So you take a thing of soup here, a little bowl of soup, and then you're going to add the bulgur wheat on top. This is called a two-component soup. Now, when you have a two-component soup like this, that means I can get $20 for it in a restaurant. Yeah. Well, here, you can go like this, and now you got a three-component soup. You get $25 for it. Well, that's what restaurants do to take a relatively inexpensive soup, it's beans, and get top dollar for it. So that's the way they do things. So, and take a look at that chart when you get a chance to. I got one more thing for you because we're ready to eat. So this is from Counsels in Diets and Foods. Another good book. I put it on the back of the flyer there. Cooking may be regarded as less desirable than other lines of work, but in reality, it is a science in value above all other sciences. Thus, God regards the preparation of healthful food. He places high estimate on those who do faithful service in preparing wholesome, palatable food. And the ones who understand the art of properly preparing food and who use this knowledge are worthy of higher commendations than those engaged in any other line of work. Yeah, so if you're doing the cooking at home, you just got a raise. That's right. Well, think about it. You're having your biggest meal for breakfast. You're eating less, saving you money. Plus, breakfast is the least expensive meal of the day. You go out for lunch, it's more expensive, right? Dinner's like way more expensive. So you might as well have your biggest consumption during the least expensive items to consume. It will save you a ton of money. Dr. Hans Deal, they did studies with over 100,000 people, found out that the average savings for a Western meat-eating person going on a healthy, plant-strong lifestyle, the average savings is 40%. That's the average. That's a lot of money nowadays, isn't it? You'll save a ton of money. You really will. And she continues here. This is because it is so inseparably connected with life and health that cooking is the most valuable of all gifts. And the reason I point this out, what did the devil go after with Adam and Eve? Anybody know? Food? Apples? Blueberries? Appetite? So, yeah, okay. Actually, Satan goes after the body. Because Satan knows first you get the body, then you get the mind, and then you get the spirit. And how many times have we heard that phrase before, body, mind, and spirit? It's in that exact order. Satan's going after our kids' bodies before they're even of age to make decisions. They're getting bombarded with animal fat, cholesterol, sugar nowadays at 135 pounds per person. The average oil is 10 pounds per person per month. And that's just vegetable oil. And now the chemicals and the GMOs, I mean, the kids are really getting bombarded. And he was going after our bodies before we were ever even born. Satan's attacking the body. So all we're doing is reversing the process. When you start getting healthier physically, you're going to start getting healthier mentally, and then you have a better connection with God. It is all connected in such a mighty way. Framingham Medical Studies, when they were looking at that blood with the animal fat, they also found out you get that animal fat off of all your brain cells. And when people go plant strong, they actually end up with higher brain activity. Now that's their quote. My quote, it just makes you smarter. And we just need to make better decisions. We need to make better decisions about what we're going to eat, make better choices about what we bring home from the grocery stores, and make better choices when we go out to eat. You know, order no cheese, no sour cream. You know, Taco Bell, I eat Fresca menu. Subway, veggie subs. You know, just make those little changes, and it will make a significant difference in your life. And let me tell you, I could be back in Vegas making top dollar, but God has just impressed me to get out in the communities and inspire some of you to become that inspiration. You know, a lot of times this isn't even about you. It's about the people you can inspire. And when you start making changes and you're living a healthy life, you can inspire your loved ones and your friends and your family and your neighbors and your coworkers and your, children, and that domino effect continues. And that's what it takes. You would not believe all the people whose lives have been transformed. How many of you know the Fishers that used to be here? Quite a few? Okay. Did you ever get their testimony about how much weight they've lost? They came to one of my cooking shows in California before they moved here, and they decided to quit eating out and went on a healthy lifestyle. Their family lost over 200 pounds before they showed up here. Yeah. So between all four of them, they lost over 200 pounds. So, but it works. It just works. So, all right, I am going to I get to have some fun again today. I like having fun in the kitchen. All right. Oh, wait, we were going to do a drawing, weren't we? Let's grab those tickets, and we'll have a drawing to see who's going to do the dishes. Oh, they didn't know what they were drawing for, did they? Ha, ha, ha. Okay. Well, we've got some drawings for you today. I might need a couple helpers too to help with this drawing today. Let's get a couple helpers up here. Come on over. Let's have a drawing real quick here. Yeah, let's get a couple helpers to help run all these too. Yeah, come on up. You can draw names. Winner, winner, chicken. Okay. Helen. Helen. Raise your hand. Way in the back there. Okay, this one. These are my little inspiration books right here. Rochelle. Where's Rochelle? Okay, you can run that to Rochelle. Come on over. We got more. This is another inspirations book. We got more. You can draw again. Britty S. Edwards. Audrey Edwards. Okay. And these are my testimony books here. And first one goes to Lewis Jeter. Lewis. Does anybody know him? Can you get it to him? Because I know some people have to leave from time to time. I'll hang on to that one, and we'll make sure he gets that. Yeah. Sometimes people have appointments. Okay, we're going to have to do this one. Velna Wright. Velna Wright. So can you run that to Velna? Huh? Okay. And I've got two here for watermelons or for pineapples. Carmen Perez. Can you run that to Carmen?
The sun comes up, it's a new day dawn.
Okay, got a couple more here.
It's time to sing.
Here's another watermelon. Can you handle that? Maribel Santiago. Can you run that? You want somebody else to handle it? Can you handle it? Too heavy? Or you're okay? Right that way. She's coming right towards you. Okay, this one's for a knife. It's not a weapon. It's a cooking knife. It's for culinary. Jacqueline Sullivan. And I got three more. We got a lot of prizes today. Amber Spencer. Amber Spencer. Anybody? Lots of people. Nobody? Once, go twice.
Your name is great and your heart is kind.
Julie Walker.
Goodness,
Okay, we've got her. And the last two right here. Here's the last two.
10,000 reasons for my heart to
That's there. Okay. That's for you. And the last one. Last one. That's Rick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's actually my gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, sugar-free, calorie-free cookbook. Well, of course there's no recipes in it. I mean, calorie-free, come on. Oh, these people want everything, don't they? We'll crank this up. I certainly will. Watch out for the plastic, too. The best thing you can do, I always tell people the best thing you can do is pray for discernment. That's where you get godly wisdom and godly knowledge. It's like using God's eyes and God's heart and mind instead of your own. Instead of getting parents' intuition, you get godly intuition. And you really need discernment to decipher through all this garbage that's out there, because we are in this mecca of false information, you know, and especially with internet and Facebook and all these things like that, there is so much false information out there. So pray for discernment. That helps more than anything. Okay. Just a little bit, right?
Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, worship your holy name. Jesus, I will worship your holy name. Worship your holy name.
Amen.
Let's give him another applause. Well, Mark Anthony is changing. He does these shows all over the country. He doesn't charge 1 penny for any of the shows he does. He doesn't charge 1 penny for the food that we're about to take right now. And what we would like to do, as appreciation for him coming here and share with us this just wonderful knowledge to help us as families, as individuals, what we want to do is collect a free will offering for him and his expenses. If you have a checkbook, you can write it out to Mark Anthony. So we're going to have one of the gentlemen right here. He's going to pass out. The bags, and you can deposit your offering there in the bags. Thank you very much for being willing to help.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not, as thou hast been, not forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is.
Now, I do want you to know I am blindfolded, but I don't want people thinking there's some mystical thing going on back there or something like that. I actually have a foam board back there that's all carved out, so I can actually feel my way through the whole painting. So it's kind of like painting in Braille. And it just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of training. And see, that's what we need to do with our health, okay? We need to train ourselves. Actually, what we need to do, we need to retrain ourselves because we were not trained right the first time. And once you get your bodies retrained into the way you should have been eating all along, you can look back like I do. I can't believe I used to eat the way I used to eat. And it's just one step at a time. Keep taking steps. You know, if Jesus is at the end of your tunnel, do those things to get closer to him. Read more, study more, and pray more. You know, we had to open up a business. You got to go through all those steps. It's the same thing with your health. You just go through those steps. Eventually, you're going to get to the end of the tunnel. Everything in front of you is going to be crystal clear, and all that earthly dirt is going to be behind you. So it just takes steps. Now, we're going to have a buffet line started over here. We're going to start with the front row first and have everybody lined up over here, and then everybody's going to kind of exit out their seats this way so they can come through here. I do have a book table here, which really helps support our ministry. That's what really, you know, the donations usually always cover my food cost and traveling, but that's what helps us grow. And we want to grow. We have just been so passionate about having a greater zeal every year, doing more. Hopefully next year we want to be on half a dozen networks instead of 2 and 3 like we are right now. But anyway, what else do we have? We have somebody here that I think we need to give a few minutes to talk about some healthy foods.
Yes, this afternoon we have a gentleman with us in this community. His name is Richard La Rochelle, and he has some information that he would like to share with you. And also, you would like if you like to speak to him after the dinner, you can. So, Richard, happy to have you with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me a few minutes here. Very inspirational presentation, Mark. Very, very inspirational. I'm sure it'll be very delicious. We are starting a food cooperative here in Fredericksburg. It will be a grocery store owned by members of the community like you and me. And Gloria Lloyd, my colleague, is here. She's a member. And Anna Savage is also a member. And the food co-op will feature natural, healthy, vegetarian foods, the kind that we talked about today. I know from my own experience, I became a vegetarian when I was 18 years old. That's the same year my father died. He was 46. The men in my family die young. His father, who I never met, died in his 50s. And so I'm 63. I've outlived all of them, and I feel good about being a vegetarian. It certainly has been very good for my health. My whole family is vegetarian, including my 3-year-old granddaughter. So she's the reason we moved here to Fredericksburg. My son teaches at UMW, and she wanted us to move close to her, so that's what we did. I came here today because I know that this community has a lot of interest in healthy foods, as we saw. And this seems to be something that would be very consistent with your ethics, with your values. I have close friends who are Seventh-day Adventists, and I'm hoping that you all will join with us in helping to make this food co-op a reality. We just are getting started. We incorporated in September, and we're trying to get 1,000 members. Right now we have about 25, Gloria. And so a little more than that, okay. And so the members will, so by coming in now, you'll all be there forming the co-op, so it will have the kind of foods that you want, when you want them. And it'll be a co-op, so owned by the members, one member, one vote. So we have information on the food co-op. Gloria has these cards. To become a member, it's a one-time cost of $200. So we're trying to raise about $200,000 from 1,000 members, and then we'll borrow some money and then open a store. Again, to carry vegetarian foods owned by the community. There's no personal gain to anyone. I'm a volunteer. Gloria's a volunteer. We're all just working to try to bring healthy vegetarian foods to our community. So I hope it's something we can work on together, and I so appreciate, Pastor, getting the time to be with you. Thanks so much.
And a lot of them are very, very successful. The way they do things is that you'll actually save money too. Isn't that a big part of it? You actually will save money every time you go grocery shopping there. So it's an investment that you will get a return for every time you go shopping, and you'll save money from other grocery stores, and that's a big plus. So yeah, in fact, we should set you up on a table back there if you want, and And that way people can come and talk to you about it and get more information. And yeah, it's definitely a good way to go. So, okay, I do need a few volunteers. I'm going to need about 3 or 4 volunteers. And I think I'll pray over the meal, and then we can start our buffet line here. Oh, Father God, we thank you so much for bringing us together, and what a blessing it is to receive the bounty of the food you provide. And we just ask blessings over this food, that you will nourish us and strengthen us, and not just physically, Lord. We want to be strengthened mentally so we can be spiritually closer to you. That's what we're here for, is to know and love you better. So we just thank you so much in Jesus' name. Amen. So we'll get a few volunteers, get the front row lined up over here. Plenty of tables. If you need a table to eat at, by all means, we've got the tables there for you. That's what they're for. And we'll get started in just a minute. So we can get some music playing, huh? I'll shut my mic off, so if I need it later, I can turn it on.
New mercy